Emily, a frail homeless girl, searched the trash for food. Her eyes softened when she saw a starving old man trembling on the pavement. Without hesitation, she broke her last piece of bread and handed it to him, whispering, "Please eat." Tears welled in the elder's eyes as he blessed her. Across the street, a sleek black car stopped. Behind its tinted glass, Alexander Knight, a wealthy CEO, watched silently. Something stirred in his heart as he witnessed her selfless act. In that moment, her kindness, despite having nothing, etched itself into his mind. His life would never be the same. Alexander couldn't leave. The image of Emily's generosity haunted him. He leaned back in his car, studying her through the rain-streaked window. His driver asked if they should leave, but Alexander shook his head. "Follow her," he ordered softly. He watched as Emily, barefoot and thin, helped the old man until he could walk again. She didn't expect thanks, only smiled faintly and moved on into the cold night. Alexander's chest tightened. She had nothing, yet she gave more than most billionaires he knew. "Who is she?" he whispered to himself. For the first time in years, he felt curious. Emily found her spot in the park, curling on a hard bench. The air was freezing, her thin sweater useless against the biting wind. She held herself tightly, teeth chattering, but still whispered a prayer for the old man she had helped. Not far away, Alexander's car remained. He sat inside, conflicted. He wanted to approach her, to give her warmth, but feared insulting her pride. Instead, he stayed, watching as she shivered, her breath visible in the night. His chest ached with unfamiliar guilt. Why does she matter to me? He thought, unable to drive away. Sleep evaded him. At dawn, Emily woke to find a thick, soft blanket folded beside her. She touched it in disbelief, her eyes widening. Nobody had ever cared enough to leave her something so precious. Clutching it to her chest, she whispered, "Thank you, whoever you are." From across the street, Alexander sat in his car, watching her smile faintly for the first time. It warmed him more than any corporate victory ever had. "She deserves more," he murmured. Emily didn't know the silent gift was only the beginning, that a stranger, in the shadows, had chosen to change her destiny forever. The old man appeared again, healthier now. He thanked Emily with teary eyes, saying, "You saved me. I was ready to give up on life." He revealed, he once worked for a powerful businessman, but lost everything after betrayal. Emily listened patiently, offering comfort instead of judgment. Alexander, eavesdropping from a distance, froze. The elder spoke of Alexander's late father, how loyalty and kindness once built an empire. Shock coursed through Alexander. The girl he admired had unknowingly touched someone tied to his own past. Fate, it seemed, had woven their lives together in a way he couldn't ignore. Emily went to a soup kitchen for a meal. While waiting in line, a tall man in a tailored suit entered quietly. She barely glanced at him, too focused on her empty stomach. But Alexander positioned himself nearby, pretending to be an ordinary volunteer. When Emily looked up, their eyes met. For a brief moment, her guarded expression softened. He offered her a tray of food, their hands brushing slightly. "Thank you," she whispered. Alexander's heart raced at the simple words. She didn't know he was the CEO of Knight Enterprises. To her, he was just another kind stranger. A wealthy woman at the soup kitchen mockingly tossed a few coins at Emily, saying, "Buy yourself something useful." Humiliation burned in Emily's chest, but she calmly placed the coins back into the woman's palm. "I may be poor," she said firmly, "but I still have dignity." The room fell silent. Alexander watched, amazed at her strength. Most would have swallowed the insult for survival, but not Emily. She walked away with her head high, hungry but unbroken. Alexander clenched his fists, thinking, this girl has more honor than half my board members. His respect for her deepened. That night, the skies opened with a heavy storm. Emily, soaked to the bone, searched desperately for shelter. She finally found refuge in an abandoned building, coughing from the cold. Alexander, following from a distance, couldn't bear it anymore. He called his assistant and arranged for a safe, discreet place nearby, a small apartment prepared under another name. He left a key hidden where she would find it. Emily stumbled upon it, confused but desperate. When she unlocked the door, warmth enveloped her. Tears slipped down her face. "Who's helping me?" she whispered. unaware her silent guardian was close. The next morning, Emily discovered a note inside the apartment. Work can bring dignity. Come to Knight Enterprises, apply for any job. This is your chance. She hesitated, thinking it too good to be true. Still, she walked nervously into the grand skyscraper, dwarfed by its luxury. A kind HR manager welcomed her. Soon after, she was offered a janitorial position. Emily accepted, her eyes shining with pride. She didn't know the note came directly from Alexander himself. Watching from his office above, he smiled faintly. "Let's see how far she can go," he murmured, hiding his involvement. Emily scrubbed floors and cleaned offices with quiet dedication. Despite her humble role, she worked harder than anyone. She greeted every employee with a smile, even those who ignored her. Soon, people began to notice her sincerity. Alexander observed through surveillance cameras, fascinated. She never complained, never cut corners. She carried herself with a dignity that no uniform could erase. For him, she was unlike anyone. He had met in the corporate world, untainted by greed or ambition. At night, she returned to the small apartment, whispering prayers of gratitude, never suspecting her ordinary job was part of his plan. Emily's sincerity made some colleagues respect her, but others grew jealous. "Why does the CEO notice a cleaner?" they whispered. One day, a group of employees spilled coffee on the floor and mocked her while she cleaned. Emily kept calm, smiling gently, refusing to retaliate. What they didn't know was that Alexander had been watching from the glass office above. His jaw tightened. That night, disciplinary memos were issued quietly. Emily was surprised when those same bullies suddenly treated her with respect. She had no idea the mysterious CEO himself had protected her honor without revealing his hand. One evening, Emily was called to the executive floor to deliver documents. When she stepped into the luxurious office, her eyes widened. Behind the grand mahogany desk sat the same man who had once served her food at the soup kitchen, Alexander Knight. Her heart raced. "You?" she whispered in shock. Alexander rose slowly, guilt flickering in his eyes. "Yes, I'm the CEO." Emily staggered back, humiliation burning her. "So this was pity all along?" she cried. Without waiting for his answer, she fled the office. For the first time, Alexander realized winning her trust might be harder than anything else. Days passed, and Emily avoided Alexander's gaze. She continued her work silently, her heart aching with betrayal. Alexander tried to reach her, leaving small gestures, a cup of warm tea, a scarf on her chair, but she ignored them. Finally, he cornered her in the lobby. "I never pitied you, Emily. I admire you," he confessed, his voice rough. She shook her head. "How can I believe you? People like you and me don't belong in the same world." Alexander's eyes darkened with resolve. "Then I'll break the walls of that world." Emily's heart trembled, torn between doubt and hope. The old man reappeared, visiting Emily at her apartment. He revealed shocking news. He had once been Alexander's father's trusted aide, but was betrayed by corrupt partners who forced him into poverty. Alexander's father was a good man, he told Emily, and your kindness reminds me of him. When Alexander heard the same story, he felt both anger and sorrow. Fate had brought Emily and the elder into his path for a reason. Emily, however, feared she was being dragged into a world of power struggles far beyond her. The connection between their lives was deeper than she realized. Late one evening, Emily was cornered by two men in a dark alley near her apartment. They demanded she deliver stolen documents from Knight Enterprises, claiming they knew she had access. Emily froze, insisting she knew nothing. Suddenly, Alexander appeared, fists clenched. He fought them off, his suit torn, his knuckles bleeding. "Are you hurt?" he asked desperately, pulling her close. Shaken, Emily realized she had become a target because of him. Fear clouded her eyes. "Your world is dangerous," she whispered. Alexander's arms tightened around her. "Then let me protect you, always." But her doubts only grew deeper. When corporate rivals broke into the office one night, Emily accidentally stumbled upon them stealing files. Instead of running, she grabbed the documents and hid them, even though they threatened her. She was struck across the face but held firm. Alexander found her trembling, blood on her lip, clutching the papers tightly. "You could have been killed," he shouted, voice breaking. she whispered. "I couldn't let them hurt. You." Tears burned in his eyes as he held her fragile body. In that moment, Alexander realized she wasn't just a girl he admired. She was the one he couldn't live without. One starry night, Alexander invited Emily to the rooftop of the company building. City lights shimmered below them. For a long moment, he simply looked at her, the wind tousling her hair. Then he said quietly, "Emily, I've built empires, but none of it matters without you." Her eyes widened, heart racing. "Why me?" she whispered. He stepped closer, cupping her face gently. "Because you taught me kindness, because you're braver than anyone I know, because I love you." Emily's lips trembled. For the first time, she didn't look away. Her heart whispered the truth she had long denied. News spread like wildfire. The CEO loves a homeless girl. The media mocked. Society sneered. And Alexander's board of directors warned him, choose status or lose the company. At a press meeting, journalists bombarded him with questions. Alexander took Emily's hand, pulling her beside him. With cameras flashing, he declared firmly, "This is the woman I love. No title or fortune can change that." Gasps filled the room. Emily's heart pounded with fear and pride. For the first time, she saw him not just as a CEO, but as a man willing to risk everything for her. Emily, with Alexander's support, enrolled in night classes. She began studying business, determined to stand beside him as an equal. Slowly, she blossomed from a timid, broken girl into a confident young woman. She still worked at the company, but no longer as a cleaner, now as a trainee under Alexander's direct mentorship. Employees who once mocked her now admired her determination. Every night, she whispered, "I will never forget where I came from." Alexander watched proudly, knowing she was building her own identity. She was no longer just the girl he saved. She was becoming a woman of strength. On a bright morning, Emily stood in the company's garden with Alexander beside her. The old man she had once fed approached, his eyes full of tears. "You've come so far," he said, blessing them both. Alexander slipped a ring onto Emily's finger, his voice steady. "From the day you gave bread to a stranger, you rewrote both our destinies." Emily's eyes sparkled with joy as she whispered, "And you gave me a home, a future, and love." Hand in hand, they walked forward, no longer CEO and homeless girl, but two souls who had rewritten fate together.